Hello there, and welcome to Lunch for the Soul. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm Melissa Wilson with Fox 26 Morning News, typically, but also your medical reporter. And through that job, I get to meet some of the most fascinating people. I wanted to start the new year off right this year and make sure that we start with somebody so inspirational. I hope it'll get you on your feet. It'll get you to your destination. It'll get you to making that New Year's resolution actually stick this year. No excuses after you hear this conversation. Let's bring in Anthony right now. He is incredible.
Oh, hello.
Welcome to Lunch for the
Hey,
Soul.
thank you for having me, Melissa. Thank you so much.
Hey, you have one unbelievable testimony to tell. You are a powerhouse of positivity. So I am so honored to meet you. One of my producers, actually Maggie, is the one who reached out to you because she saw you on social media and she was like, "This guy's taking the world by storm." Do you hear that a lot?
I've been hearing that a lot lately. Yes, I have actually. But all glory goes to him up there. I'm the messenger. So
Oh, well, you're quite the messenger. Okay, everybody, we're going to get to his testimony in a moment, but I took some screenshots of Instagram since that's how we met you. I figured that would be apropos to just use those for this conversation. But here you are, and you say, if there's a wheel, there's a way. Usually it's a will. We're changing it to wheel because of all you've been through. And you say, well, if you can't ride a bike with your legs, why not do it with your arms? And you can still get in cardio, right? No excuses is what we're talking about here.
talking about,
Unbelievable. All right, let's start with what was going on. We're going to date back to 2014.
right.
So a decade ago, you're riding a motorcycle. What happened?
So I was watching football with some friends, and I was headed home. My daughter's mother, she was actually pregnant at the time. So when she gave me the pass to go hang out with the boys, I was like, all right, I'll be back. So I went out, hang out with friends, and on the way home, I was going through like a new subdivision, like a new construction build. I was following a friend because he told me about a shortcut. So as I'm following him, he kind of gets a little further. So as I'm catching up, I hit like a curb and I lose control, threw me about 20 plus feet in the air. And as I came down, I landed on my shoulder blades here. And obviously, I remember everything up until impact, and I broke my T4 vertebrae. So I was just kind of laid out there, and I was kind of after that. I don't really remember much other than being in the hospital and the doctor just coming up to me and telling me, "You got good news and bad news. Which one do you wanna know first?" And I said, "I'll take the good news." So he said, "Well, the good news is you're alive." And at that point, I'm like, "Okay, but I mean, what's the bad news?" So he said, "The bad news is you broke your T4 vertebrae and you compressed your spinal cord. You're paralyzed from the chest down." And I'm 26 years old. I just turned 26 in August. I gotta, I don't even know what I'm having yet, but my girlfriend at the time is pregnant. So I just got a promotion at work. So life was like going how it should go, how you think life should go. And in the blink of an eye, it was just like, you're paralyzed. You need to look at life from a wheelchair. And that's kind of how my life changed right there. Just at that moment, those words, you'll never walk again.
Yeah, I mean, those were some big words. And we see here an x-ray that you shared on Instagram. And I'm guessing that's after surgery of stabilizing your spine.
Yeah, yep. Some rods and screws to stabilize my spine. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible what you went through. And everybody, I just want you to take a moment to think about a doctor walks in, you're on top of the world, everything's going right, and you're told you'll never walk again. And you can imagine what you would go through. You can't help but suffer from depression. You can't help but feel miserable for a bit, right? I mean, and some
Yeah.
people
Oh,
go
yeah.
on to feel that way
Yeah.
forever.
Some
Um,
people, some people stay feeling that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what were those feelings for you? Was it desperation? Did you feel trapped? What
Yeah.
were you going through?
Rest. I lost all hope. The only thing that really was there for me that kind of gave me like the thing of not giving up to push me through was knowing that I had a baby on the way. And of course now it was my daughter, but at the time we didn't even know during all this time of rehab, we didn't even know yet. She was only like 2 months pregnant at that time. So I just knew a baby was coming. They brought me the first sonogram. Her mom and my sister, I believe she had her first like sonogram, I think. So whatever it's, I don't know exactly the name, but they brought me the little paper and it was like a little baby head and they just said like, "Hey dad, I see you." So like they just gave me that like, "Hey, you can't give up. Like you got a baby on the way." So
Well, it was powerful and good timing that you had something like that to
yeah.
help you. Is that what made you snap and turn your mind around that you were going to fight this and you were going to do everything you could to live a fulfilling life, even if it meant you weren't going to walk again?
Yeah, I mean, it took a little while for me to get to that level, but ultimately, yeah, that's what she keeps me pushing. Like like I can't allow her to know that it's okay to give up. Like if daddy's out here fighting life every day with a wheelchair, like that gives me no reason to like not give up and pursue my dreams and continue to keep going and be strong. So she's definitely the driving force of everything I do.
Oh, I know that means so much to her to be able to know that about you, that she made such a difference in your life before she was even born.
Yeah, she,
Brings tears to my eyes, and it's incredible that those daddy heartstrings of yours felt that way.
yeah.
Let's talk about how that turned then. Once you started saying, "I've got to do something about this," how did that fight begin? How did you get going and motivated to start working so hard to get even stronger?
So after the injury, about a year after, me and her mother we split up. So it just things were working out. You know, when you get paralyzed, the doctor tells you like, hey, someone has to take care of you, someone has to bathe you, put your clothes on you. So we went into that after having my daughter. You know, she had a C-section, so it like putting a lot of more stress on her. So the relationship just started to go negative, go
Yeah,
south.
because you become
Yeah.
you go from being your loved one, your lover to a caretaker, and it's a huge shift in the balance,
But
isn't
not just
it?
on her having to do that. My attitude and everything changed as well. I was very angry. You know, I would take a lot
Mhm.
of aggression out on the closest person next to me, which unfortunately was her. So, you know, we talked and we just agreed that it's better if we just went our separate ways. Obviously, we would co-parent, and she would never keep my daughter from me and things
Mhm.
like that. You know, so
Mhm.
it was I would say it was an easy kind of separation. It wasn't like, oh, you're never gonna see her, or it was nothing like that.
Yeah.
Hey, everything's good. I'm gonna try to figure this out. And her actually going her separate way allowed me to become who I am today because it showed me
Mhm.
that I can take my own showers, I
Mhm.
can wash my own clothes, I can get into the vehicle and still drive my own car. Like the picture right there, I'm traveling on my own. That's one of the workers there asked me if they could record that for me because, you know, this injury now I do acting and modeling, so I travel to like California and stuff a lot. So that breakup kind of helped get me to where I am today. So
Yeah.
sometimes some doors have to close for bigger doors to open. And
Yeah.
once that happened and we split up, I started going to the gym because the first thing I knew I needed to do was focus here. I needed to be able to love myself here and be confident and
Mhm.
strong because getting in and out the car was not easy. Like I'm carrying dead weight. So I got into the gym, started eating healthy. I lost over 60 pounds from my wheelchair without the
Wow.
ability to walk, sit ups, crunches, elliptical, stairmasters. That's just straight eating healthy and pushing, you know, 2 4 miles a day. So I got in there. I started to look at myself in the mirror and remember who I was again. You know, I was like, okay, this is now I'm starting to remember who I am. So got into the gym, lost weight, um, confidence was growing, and then now when I started to love myself and be happy within my new disabled body, it allowed me to be a better father and better man for my daughter. So it took me to go through that. You know, we always have to, I think we forget about ourselves. We try to put others and other things above our own happiness. So we get caught in the background. So once I
Mhm.
put myself first, obviously being a father as well at the same time, but making sure that I was happy within myself and then I can spread that happiness to my daughter. So it took some work, but we're here now. So it was well worth it.
So much work went in to make that happen, and I look at this picture and it just brings tears to my eyes because here you are like, "My daughter is not going to learn how to skate without me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be out there in that rink."
yeah.
And now that she's growing up, you're there for her in every single way imaginable. This is so beautiful. How meaningful is that to you?
I mean, it means everything to me because I grew up with a family where my parents weren't the best parents in my life. They had their own struggles. So I always said when I have a child, and that's another thing too, my background, like when I have a child, I'll always do everything I can to, you know, be a better parent than my parents were for me.
Mhm.
So it means the world to me, man, because like there's so many people out here who are fully capable and able to be involved in their children's life and they don't. So
Yeah,
the fact that I do what I do despite everything I have to do just to get into the vehicle, you know,
yeah.
is a challenge, and I'm not going to let anything stop me from being there.
I like this photo for a number of reasons. I'll get to the first one that involves everybody and then my own selfish reason. The first one is never give up because I feel like, no, not everybody will be paralyzed in their lifetime, but we all have paralyzing things that happen. We all go through difficult losses. How do you suggest that somebody try to get to that other side of where you are, where you say never give up and where you fight day in and day out, not only for yourself, but your family?
But you got to find you got to find, you know, your purpose, your why, what makes you happy. Like if you have kids, like that should already be your number one reason. Like everyone, there's always something, right? Like I want to live a long life for my daughter. I want to be there when she gets married and all that. So my health and being happy, like, you know, depression could take anybody, you know, everyone goes through something like you mentioned. So find what makes you happy, whether it's cooking, whether it's working out, you know, reading books, you know, watching television, like there's always something there that makes you happy, like a hobby or something. So for me, I never worked out in my life until I got paralyzed. I would go to the gym with friends, but I never was a
Yeah.
continuous, like every day I'll go do one machine, leave, play basketball, leave. Now I go to the gym every day. So that's what makes me happy. It makes me feel good. I love to go sit in the sauna for 15, 20 minutes, sweat out some sweat. Like that's what makes me happy. If I don't go, my day just doesn't feel right. So I feel like everyone, if you find something that makes you happy, it'll give you that push and that reason to not give up and keep going. So
That is some good advice that I feel like is doable for everybody.
everybody.
Okay, so now I have to get to the second reason, and I'm not supposed to say this since I'm in Houston, but the Dallas Cowboys are my number one team. So I love this
Yeah,
jersey. Oh yeah.
shout out to the Cowboys. Shout out to the
Oh, it's so fun. So I just had to say that. No, and then so I want to talk about what you're doing now because your career has really blossomed and taken off. And you feel like it's all because of what you've been through and it led you to this path. So what were you doing before and tell everyone what you're doing now?
Okay, so before I worked in the oil and gas company. So in being in Texas, like oil and gas was really big. There's a lot of good jobs, good paying jobs too. You know,
Mhm.
a lot of them are just like warehouse type jobs though, but the pay is really well. But the thing about the oil and gas industry is it's an up and down industry. So
Mhm.
when I actually got laid off in 2016, I was there from 2007 to 2016. I got paralyzed in 2014. So obviously after I got paralyzed, they created a position for me in the office working on a computer. So it kept the same pay, everything was good, but
Mhm.
then it got bad and I was one of the last people to get laid off. So I got laid off and obviously now I'm paralyzed and what can I do? I don't know what I can do. Like, so I applied at so many companies and the only company that hired me was Walmart at the time. Walmart hired me as a door greeter, which was good for me because I'm already sitting down. So I'm
Yeah.
at the door greeting people like, hey, have a nice day. You know, like, thank you for coming, come back, you know, come see us again. And I worked there, but then my oil and gas company hired me back. So I actually went back to work there for them for about a year. And shout out to one of my best friends. He worked as an engineer. He's still an engineer. He actually got me a job with him at the engineering firm. Like
Oh, nice.
engineering, and I didn't go to college, so to be able to work there without a degree, everyone
Yeah.
in there had a degree. So you know, he told the owner about me, and they gave me an opportunity, and I worked there for 3 years. So I'm in the best career. Like I'm like, yo, like I didn't go to college. Like I'm blessed. Like this is
Yeah.
thank you so much. So I worked there, and then COVID happened. 2020 happened. COVID happened, and what did most people do? They started putting stuff on Instagram and TikTok
Mhm.
like that. So I started sharing my life and just my daily journey, like working out and how I lost weight from my wheelchair and how I take care of my daughter in my wheelchair. And I just started to share clips and videos and stuff, me doing stuff with my daughter on TikTok. And within like 4 to 5 months, I had over 100,000 followers from there. And I was just blown away. And I like to dress up. You know, like I said, confidence, self love. I like to wear my suits and look nice when I go out and stuff like that. So I put some pictures together on. It was like a trend where people were putting like nice pictures together. And acting and a modeling agency actually saw it and were like, "Hey, we think you'd be a great fit for our agency because we don't have any disabled models or actors, and
Wow.
we see a lot of casting for that, and they want authentic." So
Mhm.
at the time, I'm like, well, I'm an engineer. I don't need to do that. I got a good job. But I was like, you
Mhm.
know, I got nothing to lose. So I went and I talked to the guy who found me, or the person that they hooked me up with to interview with. And
Uh-huh.
before I left, he offered me a contract and said, hey, we want to sign you. So I signed it. That was in 2021, because that was the end of 2020. So 2021, well, November 2020 is when I signed the contract thing.
Mhm.
Since then, I've done over about 40 to 50 commercials with modeling and video, like pictures and video print. Yeah.
Incredible.
And I've done 3 television show auditions. So I haven't booked one yet, but I'm still fairly new into the industry. So I know the sky's the limit for me. You know, I always say that if he wants it for me, it'll be for me. So I'm
Oh,
going
yeah.
to work on my craft, continue to, you know, take care of my body and my health. And when the opportunity is ready for me, I'll be ready for it.
Well, and you are so well spoken. I completely see this happening to you. And if you believe it's going to happen, I feel like that you have all the tools to make that happen. And then your testimony is going to get out to even more people. I think that's remarkable that you're sharing this. One thing that I think is also incredible is how you were trying to help other people in wheelchairs to learn how to make modifications in their lives to make themselves easier. And
Mm.
I would encourage anybody to go check you out. I'm sure you like you said, TikTok, Instagram, and find out some of those ideas. What you did to your apartment just rocked my mind of how you make your life so easy. It's remarkable.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you have to. It's trial and error. This life is trial and error.
Mhm,
So you see what works, what doesn't work. Because what works for me may not work for someone else in the same situation. Everyone's injury levels are different. Like I'm from the chest down. I'm a T4, but
mhm,
someone that might be paralyzed from like the belly button down, he has more core, or he or she
mhm,
may have more core. So some of the stuff I do made me be like, oh, well, I don't need to do that. So
mhm.
it's all the same, but it's a little different at the same time. So for sure, I feel like if anyone is in my situation, though, definitely like the modifications and things that I do have,
Yeah.
definitely would benefit anybody though to be able to just roll under the sink and brush your teeth over.
Yeah, like, get rid of the cabinets so that you can roll under your sink. I mean, when I saw you do that, I mean, it just makes perfect sense, yet I've never seen anybody as a medical reporter do that before, and
Yeah.
they struggle with it all the time. I mean, it really is smart.
Roll sideways, and I'd have to lean over with the cup,
Yeah.
rinse and wash with the cup, and dump it out and rinse it because I couldn't get under the sink because if I tried, it would spill water and toothpaste.
Mhm.
So, yeah, just little things, just trial and error. Sometimes I'd have to open the counters and I'd pop a little willy into it and then
Right.
roll as close into as I could. But then I'd have to move everything out from under the sink and then put everything back in. So it became a hassle. So it was just quicker
For
and
you're like, "Forget about it. Take the cabinets out. We're good
easier.
to go." I mean, it truly is brilliant.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm so happy that you figured out ways just to make life easier, and you know what? It takes away those daily frustrations, right? I mean, I think when there's just little frustrations eating on us all day long, it all adds up, and it changes who we are and how we act, and if you have a peaceful life,
yeah.
you're just
You're good.
happier
Yeah,
and
you're happier.
nicer to everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I love this. Well, I am just so honored to be able to meet you. So now I know I showed your handle just a minute ago on Instagram. Is it the same across the board?
Yeah.
Can we find you elsewhere, Wheelchair Poppy?
And TikTok. Yeah, wheelchair poppy. Yep, that's it
And
right.
we can find you there. And then did you use prayer to get you through the hard
I
times?
did use prayer because when you're alone in that hospital bed, there's
Yeah.
someone that'll never give up on you and he'll always be there to listen to you. So prayer is definitely very big into my lifestyle. Even to this day, I still, like I don't lose who got me here. I don't lose the faith. I roll by faith, not by sight. So
Mhm.
I'm a big believer and I know what he's ready for me to have, I'll have. And if not, we're just gonna keep working until he's ready to open those doors for me. It's his time and not mine.
Yeah. Well, again, it's an honor to be able to talk to you, and I just hope that you fuel the fire in people who might be feeling down
Yeah.
and just really get them ready for the new year and spark a flame of perseverance and working hard and ends up bringing a lot of happiness sometimes.
What
So
that's
thank you for
the mantra,
sharing that.
CIC right there.
Uh-huh.
That means Ant can, I can. If I can do it, they can do it. So that's my mantra for my brand and what we do. So we let people know, like people come on my live streams and everything. Like if you can do it, I can do it. I said that's right. That's the whole message. Is if I can do it, you can do it. If I'm doing it from a wheelchair,
Mhm.
you can walk. There's no reason why you can't be in the gym and lose weight and be and taking care and
Yeah.
having the best life that you can. If I'm doing it sitting down.
It is perfectly stated. Anthony, you're incredible. Thank you so much again for being here on Lunch for the Soul. And I'm going to be watching closely and getting good ideas from you about how to live life right all the time.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for
All
having.
right. Take good care of yourself.
Thank you.
And just a reminder, maybe you joined us late today. You can always go to Fox 26's YouTube page and catch us there. And also, you can reach out to me at melissa.wilson@fox.com. Maybe you want to be featured on Lunch for the Soul. I would love to hear from you. Please reach out to me anytime. I will be here. Hope to see you next time for this edition for Lunch for the Soul. Thanks for being here. Have a beautiful day.